Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and since this week seems to be turning into weird places I'm shooting from in my apartment, you're getting a shot of me next to my bed. Mostly because I thought the lighting would be very, very nice here, but I also feel like now I am very, very white and I don't know how to color balance, so that's gonna be an issue in editing. Anyway, I'm here to do the Day 5 challenge for the BookTubeAthon, which is the class reading list. Basically, we're meant to take one of the books that we're reading for one of the challenges for the BookTubeAthon and create a class around that book and a reading list to go for that class. Yes, to go with that class, but that last take was almost perfect, so I didn't change it. Something I am sure I've said a few times on the internet is that I like books about books and book-related things. Today I've decided to narrow that down to create a class reading list about books about writers, because if I didn't narrow it down, I could just go on for days. Books in libraries, books in bookshops, books where reading is an integral part of the plot, etc., etc. This idea came about because I am currently listening to Smut, which is the book I'm using for the Person on the Cover challenge, because I was using Public Library and Other Stories, but I wasn't really getting on with it. I want a class discussing books about writers and what each book tells us about tropes, storytelling, and writing. After all, you're told to write what you know, which is certainly what I did with the NaNoWriMo novel I wrote back in 2012. Hint. It's about an awkward person who wants to write. The reading list, in no particular order. Smut by Karina Halle not only gives you the formula for an erotic novel, but shows it to you as well. Another title along the lines of erotic writing would be Zelda's Cut by Philippa Gregory, so this would be a great novel to contrast with Smut. And I'm sure we can come up with some intriguing discussions. For those a little more pure of heart, Harriet the Spy by Louise Fitzhugh is a look into a young author who gets into a little bit of trouble when she writes what she knows. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell deals with the legitimacy of fan fiction as a pastime, as well as a way into creating your own work. On Writing by Stephen King is a practical guide from somebody who has written almost 100 books. As an optional additional read, try Misery or The Shining. King has quite a few novels where he writes about novelists. It is with the restraint of every fiber of my being that I'm not making a Dark Tower reference because spoilers, but I am wearing a Dark Tower shirt. Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes is another nonfiction book, not specifically about writing, but part of it discusses script writing, which gives us a different perspective on writing about writing. A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan is the start of a series written in the form of a multi-volume memoir. So the protagonist is writing the story instead of struggling to write another story, which is a trope that you see heavily in writing about writing. I only included titles on this list of books that I have already read, so if you have any suggestions for this class, let me know about them down in the comments below. And I'll see you later. Bye!